starts, it was already different.
Torval and Dean's dream routine was almost complete. They'd found the perfect music, they'd created the iconic beginning, and their big finish was in place. There was just one thing left to do: create the choreography for everything else in between.
It's a complete story. It was real to us. It's what we needed.
With Bolero, we needed a story and a feeling that would build up a feeling of anticipation and passion to get to the end and bring people along with you.
It was a bit of a Romeo and Juliet story, really. It was, you know, two people that couldn't be together, and this was sort of their last dance, and they were climbing up the volcano and jumping into eternity together.
Throughout this whole routine, we looked at each other quite intensely, didn't we, the whole time?
It was about us. It was
all
about
us.
our eye contact, and we wanted people to feel that they were watching something very intimate.
I hold that routine entirely responsible for the fact that I grew up thinking that they were a couple. It's like a love story, you know, they're sort of with each other and then away from each other, and that bit at the beginning where they almost look like they're going to kiss and they don't.
You wanted to believe that the love that you were seeing on the ice, it had to be real. They had to be madly in love with each other. Surely there's no way you could pretend to be that passionately in love.
And at the time, most of the country, including myself, believed they were an item. They were everything the hungry press pack could ask for. They were the boy and girl next door, never seen apart. Surely they were calm and cool on the ice, but hot and steamy off it.
I assumed they had been a couple and were no longer. I felt that all the way through. You thought, this is not all acting. This really is you two do like each other a lot.
People were like, you know, the next question on everybody's lips and what everybody was mad about was, are they going to get married? Will he pop the question? I mean, I remember it. You know, will they get married on the ice?
People are nudging them to get married. Do you think that is their future or not?
No, yes, eventually, but not to rush it now.
I think they'll get married, and I hope they do.
I think it might spoil their relationship.
Why?
Well, married couple argue.
Even Torval and Dean, as ever the diplomats in cravats, played the game and kept us all guessing.
There have been suggestions that you may soon decide to make your personal relationship a more permanent one. Is there any truth in that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should ask the other people that's been saying it.
I think you always hoped that they'd be married and they'd have children who would then ice skate, and they'd just be this big kind of partridge family of skating people.
And I guess for us, Chris and Jane had that perfect relationship. They were in sync, they were together, they looked great together, they just were as one.
We've been brought up on fairy tales. When two people look like they are so in love, you want the fantasy, because it's achievable, it's real, I could have it.
Sorry, Britain, there is no fairy tale ending. Our Romeo and Juliet actually went off and married other people. And according to them, they were never more than just good friends.
People didn't want to think it was over after we stepped off the ice. And, I mean, it wasn't over. I mean, there is a love there still is, but it's not the kind of love where you get married.
She is my best friend in the world. Of course, I look after her and I'm concerned for her and all of those things. But it was never taken to a romantic place, you know. The romantic place was done through the acting, through the ice, through people's imaginations, I think.
Do you think this is the Dean bit or the Torval bit?
It's the back end, it must be the Dean.
Finally, Chris and Jane's Bolero was complete. Now they wanted to test other people's reactions to it, so they summoned an eager press corps to Nottingham for an exclusive unveiling.
We were absolutely intrigued, as you can imagine. We had no idea what they were going to do. We all met in Nottingham, and he was very enthusiastic about the programme, but he didn't tell us what it was. He said, we're going to go over to the rink and skate it for you. So we went over to this shadowy rink. And then this bump, 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 bump. And the girl behind me covering it for The Guardian, she said, "My God, it's Bolero."
For many, Torval and Dean had gone too far. From the moment they got down on their knees, the choreography was condemned as too daring. Not only that, Chris and Jane were going to be the first competitors ever to dance to just one piece of music.
In ice dancing, it is very traditional in as much as it had to be to a strict tempo. You had to have at least 2 changes of musical style and tempo within one routine.
They pushed it so far, the risk was that people would say, well, this isn't ice dancing, so we'll mark it as illegal.
They'd never seen anything like that before. And I think people were just having criticisms because it was different.
Different or not, Chris and Jane were determined to stand by their Bolero.
Is it still ice dance?
I don't know that. I think that's for the judges to decide.
But are you worried?
Well, we like to please whatever we're doing, but it's not worrying us what we're doing.
We heard the concerns, but we felt we were definitely on that Bolero bus, and there was no stopping it.